Hello, this is a short video presentation continuing our discussion of equations with square roots. Last week we looked at equations that had square roots, something like the square root of x plus 2 equals 4, and we squared both sides. Squared both sides. However, today we're going to look at equations where the other side is not a number but a variable. The important thing to remember, we're going to use the same procedure, but the important thing to remember is when you have a square root, it must return a positive number. Positive number. When we solve our equations, occasionally we're going to find out that this side, the other side, is going to be a negative number, and that will be a bad solution, or what we call an extraneous solution. Extraneous solution. Extraneous solution is a solution that doesn't work. Solution that doesn't work. All right, we're going to look at three equations. We're going to have one that has an extraneous solution and a good solution, one that has two good solutions, and one that has no solution. So we're going to start off with, you'll be asked to solve the equation. X is equal to square root of 42 minus x. Now, we have a radical by itself. I'm going to emphasize that. The radical is by itself, so we square both sides. Remember, you must use parentheses. You must use parentheses. So now I have x squared equals 42 minus x. Now you can solve this any way you want. You can complete the square, quadratic formula, factoring, whatever. I'm going to use factoring. Set it equal to 0, so we add x to both sides, plus x, and we subtract 42, minus 42, minus 42, and I end up with x squared plus x minus 42 equals 0. We factor x plus 7, x minus 6, and then we have x equals negative 7, or x equals 6. But when we go back to our original equation, x equals 42 minus x cannot be negative 7 because the square root must return a positive number. And so we scratch out the negative 7. It can't be negative 7. We'll try x equals 6. 6 is equal to 42 minus 6. All right, we're putting 6 in to see if it works. 6 equals the square root of 36. 6 equals 6. It's a good answer. So our solution is 6. All right. Now let's look at our next one. Negative 10 square root of negative 10 plus 11x equals x. We're going to square both sides. Remember, you must use parentheses. And we get negative 10 plus 11x equals x squared. Subtract 11x, add 10, we get x squared minus 11x plus 10 equals 0. I'm going to factor. Again, you have the choice. You can solve it any way you want. And we have minus 10 and minus 1. X therefore is 10, or x is equal to 1. Now, we go back to our original equation, negative 10 plus 11x equals x. They're both positive, so we're good here. And then I have square root of negative 10 plus 11 times 1 equals 1. And I substituted for x my 1 here. And 11 minus 10 is 1. Square root of 1 equals 1. Yep, that checks. 1 equals 1. It's good. I could put in negative 10. I'm sorry, positive 10. So I have negative 10 plus 11 times 10 equals 10. And again, I substituted 10 in for x. And I get 110 minus 10, square root of 100 equals 10. 10 equals 10. It checks. So both of these answers are good. So I have 10 and 1. All right. One more example. And we have the square root of negative 1 minus 2x equals x. And tomorrow, when we do this, we're going to have a binomial on this side, which makes it a little more complicated. But today, it'll just be a variable. All right. We square both sides, and again, use parentheses. We get negative 1 minus 2x equals x squared. I add 2x, I add 1. 0 equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then I factor. X plus 1, x plus 1. And again, I want to emphasize, you can use the quadratic formula or completing the square, doesn't matter. And both of these yield x equals negative 1. I do not need to write it down twice. So we have the square root of negative 1 minus 2x equals x. This must be positive. The result of the square root must be positive. X equals negative 1. It's an extraneous solution. It's no good. We have no solution. So the key here is the square root must return a positive value. So take your solutions, check them, and make sure they're positive. All right, tomorrow we'll have our last video before spring break, and tomorrow's video we will have binomials, which makes it just a little bit more entertaining. All right, have a great day.